You can't argue with facts. In 1911, Turkey established gun control. They took away the guns from their citizens. From 1915 to 1917, 1.5 million Armenians, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. In 1929, the Soviet Union decreed gun control. And from 1929 until about 1953, over 20 million dissidents, people that disagreed with the government, who had opposing political views of the regime, 20 million were rounded up and exterminated. On November 11th, 1938, Nazi Germany decreed gun control. From 1939 to 1945, over 13 million Jews and others were rounded up and exterminated because they were unable to defend themselves. China established gun control in 1935. From 1948 to 1950, 20 million political dissidents, that means they disagreed with the government, 20 million were rounded up and exterminated because they were unable to defend themselves. Guatemala established gun control in 1964. From 1964 to 1981, over 100,000 Mayans were exterminated because they were defenseless. Uganda established gun control in 1970. From 1971 to 1979, over 300,000 Christians were rounded up and exterminated because of their beliefs and the inability to protect themselves. Cambodia established gun control in 1956. From 1975 to 1977, over 1 million educated people were rounded up and exterminated. Let's look at a more recent case study, Australia. Australians were recently forced to give up over 600,000 personal firearms. And since that has happened, here are the statistics. Homicides nationwide are up over 3.2%. Homicides went up in Australia after gun control. Assault in Australia is up 8.2%. Armed robberies up 44%. In the state of Victoria in Australia, crimes with firearms has increased over 300%. Figures from the past 25 years in Australia show a steady decline in gun violence. But because they confiscated the guns from law-abiding citizens, people just wanting to protect themselves, the statistics of crime, assault, homicide have risen. There's also been a dramatic increase of assaults and abuse of the elderly since Australia took the people's guns away. Under the fake pretense of wanting to protect you, they want to restrict your right to be able to protect you and yours. Guys, we need to learn from history. In the 20th century, over 56 million people have been exterminated, killed, rounded up, and eradicated by the very government who restricted their rights. You can't argue with facts.